Welcome to the StockMiner.com studios. I'm your StockMiner Brian Johnson. And more of the same. Big move down to start the day, down as much as about 12, 15 points or so on the S&P, only to see the bulls, what? Yep, buy it right back up again. They have been relentless. So here we are again, same type of a day. We basically break even with, of course, the NASDAQ showing the strongest of the indices. It's not going anywhere, doesn't appear anytime soon. And you can see here where we've been beating our head against this upper blue line. Now we finally got a little move to the downside. If you're an Elliotician, this just looks like another ABC type of a correction before a potential bigger move up. That's all we've seen in the past. Look all the way back here. 1, 2, 3, move up. Up, 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 up. Up into here. 1, 2, 3, down. Up into here. 1, 2, 3, down. Maybe up. Still looking to break some of these highs. But once we start creeping back above these 11,000, 200 area, 11,175 even, that's probably a start to maybe one more push up. I'm not saying it's the last push up, but at least another push up overall. Looking at let's take a look at the daily. You can see it here with the touch of the what? The 20-day again. This has got to be the first thing that needs to fall here before we're going to see any type of a movement. And ultimately, not just breaking it, but closing below it is the more major item to be watching. So, we had the big move up, big red day. Remember this one? Came down, tagged the 20, ran away from it the very next day. Now look, we come into overhead, come back down, big red day today for a while, tag the 20, turn around, run away from it again. It's just hovering up here. And as long as it continues to hover, of course you're going to have people go, look what it did this time, look what it did this time, see, and then it dropped. Okay, yes, could happen. But as long as it stays up here, it is still bullish. Okay, until these levels got broke, I was not on the bandwagon yet, until we saw some levels get broke. And we have not seen that yet. None of these levels back here are getting broken. We didn't see anything cut below 11,000. We certainly haven't seen anything below this 10,875 mark back here. So we are still watching and waiting to see if it'll break to the upside and take us higher yet once again. Into the elections, into QE2, could absolutely happen. Seems like we're going nowhere the last few days, and that's probably because we haven't been going anywhere. Just consolidating sideways, but don't forget that is still, until otherwise proven, a bullish move. Look what we saw in the NDX finishing. Remember that 2125 area I keep harping on? Well, it keeps holding this lower support right around 2105, and it can't seem to break above 2125. But man, it sure looks like it's poised for it, doesn't it? Still no break of this blue line. NDX showing tons of strength in through here. So watch for that push up and over 2125 or 2130 to take us into the 2150 area. And that would be this upper head area here. I'm not exactly sure precisely where that's at. Let's see if I can get a better bearing on it here. 2144, 2145-ish area. Okay, so somewhere up in the 2140 to 2145 area is where this line is sitting. So between 2140, 2150, be very careful on the NDX. If you're going to play it to the long side, just be sure that it doesn't reverse on you too quickly and catch you off guard. From a weekly too, we are starting to creep our way up higher. As long as we hold this overhead support, we've got nothing to worry about from a bull side. The break below here is still what I'm watching for. But now that we're creeping into the middle of the week, we can start peeking at these weeklies and see where we're at. We haven't moved anywhere all week. You can see a difference of about 30 points from high to low. But as long as it's up, then the bulls still have the reins. SPX on a 60 held this blue line here. You can see it dance between this line. I like the blue line. I don't like the fact that it isn't as clean as some of the other lines. But look how well it's holding. It breaks above it, it holds on the way down. It breaks below it, it holds on the way back up. So we can see where our next level of overhead resistance is at. Breaking above 1185 and then above 1190. Watch the 1195, then the 1205, then the 1210, then the 1220, and on. We've been talking about this quite a while. I really like breaks back down below this area for shorting opportunities, but as of yet, we have not seen that. That has not been presented to us. We're seeing, starting from the left here, this big way up, ABC. Then a move way up, ABC. And a move way up, ABC for the time being. If it resolves upwards, then that's all we're looking at. It's just another one of these little pullbacks before the bulls gain more momentum to the upside. From a daily, you can see we touched this level right here that we've been tagging now for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, about 12 days. This is about 2 weeks worth of trading right here, and we honestly haven't left it. That 1175, 1173 area, we haven't gotten very far from it in about 2 weeks worth of trading. But as long as it moves sideways, this thing can absolutely continue its trounce to the upside. Just a slow, bleeding grind upwards. So you must be careful with your long plays, but no reason you can't go long. End of the day was a great intraday trade. We had we had some resistance that got broken. Once we were above that line, it was off to the races for the bulls. Bears started covering, bulls took over, and it just worked its way higher the rest of the day. That started right around, well, it appears it started right around 1. So right after lunchtime, as people were coming back, the bulls got busy. And in turn, we saw this push, which is now a wick at the end of the daily candle. But on all of the other charts, you'll see it's just a nice, solid, steady push up. Coming back into this to retest and maybe even hold. We'll see. Got a couple days left. But 1194 now is the area to be holding to the upside by the end of the week for the Bears. We've had a big grind up right into the 200, but the Bulls are looking to maybe make a run at that one last time before the week is out. Let's see if they can do it. Here we go. VIX up, market up. So what do we glean from that? Well, there's really, I think this move up in the market does make some traders a little wary about whether or not it can actually sustain this move to the upside. We're all thinking that right now. The problem is this VIX has moved up now and cleared tons of distance to the downside. Remember, it did this back here before too. Markets kind of moved up, kind of sideways, kind of nowhere, but the VIX continued up. And we resolved up in the markets and then down in the VIX, leaving it lots of room to see to move. Now what it's done is the same type of a motion. Coming up to the top here, I'm going to extend this blue line by tomorrow, and you'll see that we're right at that blue line again, closing within it. We tried to get above it, but today we closed back within it. As long as we hold that blue line, we've got room to move to the downside in the VIX, which would mean a further push to the upside in the markets. Really watch the VIX, though. Up above 2350, okay, now maybe we start to see a harder push down in the markets. But we got to get back up above this area in the VIX, and it's got to hold. Closes above these areas are what I'm ultimately looking for. The weekly, same type of thing. Look how it's holding within these blue lines. So far, so good. No big deal above that 2350 once again. Watch the VIX there. Apple's just creeping around here. Fix those lines a little bit, but you can see it's really going nowhere. Still just kind of wandering sideways, down 22 cents today. Not much to do today. Watching for pushes above 310 and or 315 ultimately for your longs, and then back below, I'd say 300. I'd probably wait for a break below 300 before I started to get a little bit more either out of longs on Apple or into shorts on Apple. But man, you guys know I don't like to short Apple, not at this point. Here it is, holding that blue line yet. This is a perfect launch point for a move upwards. If it's going to do it, I think we're going to see it here in the next day or two. It just doesn't have much more room to move. So watch for breaks up and above that 310, 315 area tomorrow. And let's see if that's ultimately where it resolves. It can break this line and head down too. No question about it. But we're going to watch this one way or the other. Still below 300 and or above 310 or 315 for the more conservative. From a weekly too, maybe this is just a little pullback. So if we do move down tomorrow, don't be too spooked about it. Apple's got a lot of room yet to move, and it hasn't been going anywhere for the most part. All week long, we've moved $6 high to low. That is nothing on Apple. So putting in a very, very small candle here on the weekly, which means not a lot of selling going on at this point. FAS 60 minutes, same type of thing. Chop. We get out of this only to find ourselves retesting the underside by the end of the day. There really wasn't a whole lot of stuff going on today. Could have caught a little bit of a move at the end of the day, but overall, this thing is still just chopping sideways. I highly recommend you wait for the breaks below here and above here for your longs or your shorts. And on FAZ, you want breaks. I'm still going to go with below 12 and above 13 for your breaks on FAZ. Ultimately, that's the safest way to go, I believe. Just take your time with these. There's tons of other stocks to play. For those of you that are married to FAZ or FAS, you need to find somebody to date. There's a lot of other stocks out there. You don't have to get just stuck with these two all day long. So find other stuff. There's plenty of other stocks to play out there. And a lot of them are moving pretty well right now. So you're missing opportunities if you're just playing these two stocks and only those two stocks. You're missing some good opportunities elsewhere in the market right now. Okay, be back with you guys again, as always, tomorrow night. Let's see if we get a more major breakout. We did have some good intraday trading today. That did come in the afternoon. It's pretty easy to play this thing to the upside all day long, or all afternoon long. But let's see if we can't get a bigger breakout where we can jump into maybe one that we can hold a little longer. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.